Morning, everyone. Actually, today I will change about the topic titles because the original speaker, should my boss, she want to talk about our scientific work, but I think you were all from, maybe all from pharmaceutical companies, so maybe you want to hear about our works in China to helping the patients for the rare disease. So I changed the topic into from rare to care, and the Chinese already have some actions, okay? I guess this is one. Okay, so I will start today's lecture with a story. Lots of people may know that that person, his name is Jet Li, the English name, and he is an action star actually for several action movies. Last year, he has another work. The name is called The Expendable 2. Maybe you guys watched that before. Okay, and the story started after he and his wife survival from a natural disaster in East Asia. And then he found a foundation called One Foundation. This foundation supported some of the underprivileged patients in China to gain their best Medicares. And then after that, back to 2009, he got another work called Ocean Heavy. This is a movie by a director from Hong Kong. And after that, he built another foundation at the bottom of that called Ocean Heaven Project. This project actually is the first foundation for rare disease patients to help them to get the proper Medicares, okay? And I got a little nervous, okay? So next slide is maybe you guys, the first time you guys know about the situation for rare disease patients in China is all from this paper. This paper has been published in 2010 online site. So in this paper, there is a lot of introduction for rare disease patients groups in China. And also, they talking about legislations in China through the Chinese Congress. So what I really want to talk about today is, it's already 3 years past. So where are we now? Okay, this is also a good paper. I think many of you guys may know the journal. The journal's founder actually. Professor Han was working with the University of Tokyo, found this magazine, found this journal. On this journal, I just show you some of the things they compared Europe and the United States and major countries of the Asia. And you see there is a lot of no or none there for China, okay? So, first, I will give you the definition for rare disease in China. This definition actually was pronounced about 3 to 5 years ago by a group of Shanghai. Then they got discussion because we usually have 2 schools in China. One is in Shanghai, the other is in Beijing. The Beijing doesn't agree with this definition. Until this year, till February, before Rare Disease Day, they got agreement with this definition. So this is definitely the latest definition for rare disease in China. Another thing is the definition for rare disease in China may be complicated. Sometimes a lot of celebrities, they got sick children. The children got some kind of disease, actually it's not rare disease like Down syndrome, but the parents found some foundation to save the rare disease patients. So a lot of conflicts there, they consider Down syndrome as rare disease in China, just remember that. The other things I really want to talk about is our regulation policies. Actually, this is not my thing. This is all about SFDA thing. They already changed their name, just like our ministry. We changed the name into National Health and Family Planning Commission now, not Ministry of Health now. And we have at least 4 regulations there. The earliest one has been released in 1999. And in this paper, they're talking about some untreated disease as the rare disease. This is the first time they gave some terms about rare disease. And after that, we have 2 regulations. There is never changed the term of rare disease and other things. But till this year, at late of January, they launched another regulation there. That's the one you may saw on the screen, okay? And they are really talking about to encourage some of the pharmaceutical companies to research on the biosimilars, generics, drugs on rare disease. And also they encourage some of other drugs, which is all target the pediatrics disease. So this one just the one I Google and then I copied that. Actually, some of the official papers, they don't have English version, so I just show you the ideas about that. If you have interested to the details, if you got any colleagues can speak English, I can send the original one to you after this lecture, okay? This is the overview of what we are doing in China through this year, started from last year actually. We want to do a infrastructure for the rare disease patients. So we got a lot of people involved, like hospitals, physician, and industry people, and NGO. I guess it's the same like Europe and the States. Also, there is a central roles for government because I already got at least 6 ministry on board for this project. Okay. This one, I will not just skip that, okay? So many friends want to always ask me, the question is, why you are involved in these areas? You don't have any relatives have rare disease. So the real question, I guess, is I got some of the friends like Dr. Sagayami. She convinced us to do the Orphan Night Chinese Node last year. And then we have a very quick move to these areas because I was once from basic science research areas. So I seized the opportunity. This may be a good motive for accelerating the healthcare innovation in China. So I wrote an application to our Ministry of Science and Technology, and the minister himself gave me the grants to do such work as a network building. So we just started. Until the last year, October, we actually have the first databases for PKU genomic databases. We haven't opened that to the public yet. So this is something we got another project called MAC Project of Science Research in the 12th 5-year plans. This one is huge in China because every 5 years we found a lot of basic research areas, and also last year we are talking about to support some of the translational medicine research in these areas. So I guess maybe rare disease research and orphan product development to our government is like huge to translational medicine. So we built 2 rare biobanks. One is in Beijing, the other is in Shanghai. I will not tell you the details because the time is limited, okay? So this is a case. We got a report this year at the early time of January, actually. This young lady, she's only 28 years old, and she just gave birth to a new boy. And after that, nobody knows the reason. After 7 days, she just become dead. It's like an old lady. So I said a new mom become grandma. So the reason for this, we haven't figured out. So the media sent this into public areas. A lot of people concerned about this. We found at least 3 similar reports in the nationwide. And the physician knows about this disease. So they gave her some diagnosis, but we still have no treatment for this. So they just let her to do the cosmetic surgery. And the physician told them, if you do the surgery after 3 years, you will become this again. And then you need another surgery. So think about that. Is that painful? Okay, so we built another research networks actually with the Ministry of Health with their support. we set at least 15 institutes as the initiators in this project. One thing I want to say is we got Chinese Academy of Science, Chinese Academy of Medical Science, and Chinese Academy of Engineering on board. The question is, many people ask me why you choose this institute, university, and hospitals. I'm not quite sure I did such a wonderful job, but I was one of the researchers. What I really choose them is because they already have about at least 3 to 5 years research base in this area in Pacific rare disease. So we just found them, okay? And the other thing so many friends ask me is like, we got another news, I think before the Rare Disease Day this year, some of the teams set up one of the anti-rare disease alliance in Shandong province. They asked me what's the differences between these networks and alliance. So the real question is, I guess you should ask yourself is, in China, although we have a lot of money for supporting the research, but we still have limited resources. So what we do is, the network is really a national-wide. But for the alliance, it's just for several reasons. They are more like a local research network. So the other thing is we have built some of the comprehensive clinics in these areas. I choose these red stars to show you because the Ministry of Health already started some of training back to 2006. We are training the physician, surgery, nutritionist, nurse to understand how to use genetics and genomic databases into clinical use. So we just set the original genetic clinics into our rare disease area, help them to understand more about rare disease, and especially for orphan products for the special care. So that's the alliance I mentioned before. So our old module for training is just like this. It's containing some clinical genetics training and also some of people doing translational research work. The new model is like this. We really train so many nurses and physicians to understand rare disease, because if they don't know, they have no concept of rare disease, how could you expect them to help the big farms to study like a clinical trial study in their hospital, okay? So this one is just for internal training. Because in Ministry of Health, we have an educational center there actually. They will send continuing medical credits to each people learning there. And the other one, I guess most of people already noticed that SFDA also have their own training center. We try to set some kind of governmental framework together, and with other government help, like you guys in the States from FDA or EMA, we are trying to help our government to figure out how to do that in China. We may figure out some Chinese version of the strategy for orphan products development. Okay, this is something I just got talked to some of the people in the States and Europe. They really want to set this symposium. So I guess maybe at the late time of this year, we can have the first one. If you guys have interest, you can all go to mainland China. Maybe we can talk about your strategies there, okay? So the other thing I want to talk about is we just get started about the project for national-wide newborn screening project. This project, we will start at least 48 birth defect. We got Ministry of Civil Affairs, Ministry of Health, and another foundation called National Birth Defect Foundation on board. We already started some of the work, I think at later of last month. If you guys ever have interest in these 48 disease, I can send you the list if you give me the card, okay? And the other thing is, people always ask about prevalence of rare disease in China. Where I can find my patients, what is really rare in China, how rare is that in this area. So we don't have united statistics yet, but I noticed that we got a lot of epidemiological statistics from CDC, but to them, they never released the real data to the public. I will not tell you the reason, but they have their own reasons. But we need some kind of united data, actually. If you don't know the prevalence of Pacific rare disease, how could you expect you guys to make some strategy to help Chinese patients, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend some time to support some of the research, and then we will get some databases. We will discuss about in China, maybe through the government, maybe we can release partial of the databases to pharmaceutical companies for the urgent med of this disease, okay? The other thing is, you guys may know, since 2010, we have already covered at least 12 rare disease into the insurance system. Started in Shanghai and then expanded in different cities like Qingdao. And then to this year, Beijing already started their insurance covered rare disease, but just got few disease, at least 13 disease. But we'll figure out the next step. Also, to these areas, I think we may need some experience from you guys because we are trying to put other things. One is for how to convince the third-party people to do the medical insurance. The other thing is, last morning, actually, my colleagues sent a proposal to me. We got support by Minister of Finance. They want to build a lottery for rare disease patients. So I think maybe it will work well. In China, a lot of people like lotteries, okay? So the other things I want to talk about is we got a lot of big patient groups in China. For now, is like at least 38 patient groups in China as a big group. We also got some small patient groups. The smallest one, they only have 2 patients there. Okay. So this is just example TAC Alliance. I showed this because we have quite complex actually procedure for the patients group to get sanctuary from our Minister of Civil Affairs. We will make some improvement to shorten the procedure so we can help more patients. Okay, this is something I want to talk about. At the early time of this month, we built a National Rare Disease Organization. This organization is not NGO like you guys in Europe and in the States. This organization is supported by our government. There is a couple of functions there. I guess you guys may seen that. So there is some teams maybe really help with your strategy in China if you really want to bring the drug into Chinese market. Another thing is got me excited because we got a publishing house grants from a Chinese publishing house. I guess at the early time of next year, you will see some epidemiological report from 2013. And the other one is we want to build a clinical diagnostic guidelines for the physicians, not only from cellular level, but also from genomic level. So the last one I want to talk about is TCM and the relationship between TCM and rare disease treatment. Traditional Chinese medicine, I guess lots of people consider that as an alternative medicine in the States because it's hard to define the quantity control. Lots of things you guys don't understand, but I will tell you this. Because I met one of the patients with PKU, the doctor actually gave her prescription from the TCM. It really worked well to these children. So also another news is GSK already started expand so many monies on these areas. I think they reported several weeks ago. and they will do a large-scale TCM development in China. So it's really big resources for medical treatment. I guess to some extent, to the parents, to the relatives with rare disease, they may not think about how to bring this to them. They only see about the efforts, the results. So if you can give them the more effective treatment, they will glad to accept that. Also, our CSFDA kind of encourage our local pharmaceutical companies to do this research. Especially, they give some policies to ask them to do the clinical trials overseas, and they will admit their databases back to China. So I guess the last thing I want to talk about is really, this is 21st century. We are in the same world, on the same earth. We cannot leave each other alone. So this is rare disease is not all Chinese problem, all Americans problem, all European people's problem. It's get global. So I guess what we should do is we should care global. Use any resources you can use to help so many patients as you can, okay? So here is my contact list. You can contact with me directly, send that to my email. I still got time, but I have something to say because I will give you some tips about how to bring your drugs into Chinese market through CSFDA. I think the crucial 2 steps for that is first, you need to get drug registration. Some of the friends already told me it's hard to do that because it costs a lot of time and a lot of money to do that in China. Because sometimes the reason is actually we don't let you know everything. We don't let you to know the paperwork transparently, okay? We don't do that in China. I don't know the reason, but they usually do that. And the other thing is, the definition for green channel is really not clear. They always mention about that, but never told you which drug is suitable for green channel and how green is that. They must give you some promise, and then you are easy to put drug into their system, into their procedure. Sometimes one of my friends, they are doing really good work in China. They are trying to bring a new drug into Chinese market, but it cost them 12 to 18 months. They just can see your files into audition procedure. Actually, if you follow the book, sometimes it only costs you 3 months, as I already confirmed that with a lot of directors in CSFDA. So I don't know the correct reason about that, but I guess something you guys may figure out about that. The second step is if you only get registration in China, you don't put your drug into our major drug list, you got nothing. It's useless because the medical insurance cannot cover that. It's really expensive. Most of the Chinese people, they are from countryside. They are farmers. They cannot buy your drug. So that's kind of problem. You should think about that before you have the strategy into Chinese market. Okay, thank you very much. We still have time. If you got some questions.